Hello, this is the second question of the 206 leetcode contest. It was a little bit hard for me to figure out how to do this in a satisfied manner, and it started hard by just by uh, the question itself. Okay, I took some time to understand exactly what they are asking, and I will try to explain in the easiest way possible. So, um, starting with what this questionnaire has, we have a n, which is the number of people. Okay, is the number of people. Preferences uh, is so. Let me start again. The goal of this question is to find unhappy people that are paired. Okay, people are paired, and they might be unhappy. And what defines if they are unhappy or not is how they are paired according to their preferences. So if you see here, the person 0 has as preferences first 1, second 2, third 3. Then the person 1 has these preferences, like the highest is the lowest index. So these are their preferences. However, they can be paired in a totally different way that can make them feel unhappy. And what defines if a person is unhappy is if there is a better match in another couple. Okay, and also uh, that person. So unhappy people are cases where this person, for instance, this person would prefer to be with this one, and also this one would prefer to be with this one. These are the cases where we will find 1 and 2 unhappy people. Okay, so this is the kind of work that we have to do. We have to find the couples in which one or both of them would be better in another with another person. So how I have tackled this problem. How have I tackled this problem? So I have broke the problem in 3 phases. The first phase was to build a matrix. Okay, the first step was to build a matrix with the preferences and the weight of each preference. Okay, so if you see in here, each person has a given preference, right? And I will copy this. Just 1 second. So this is a little bit small. Yeah, better like this. So each person has its preferences, and we can see here, right? We can see person 0, person 1, person 2, person 3. Okay? So the first step that I did was to put a value for each position. For instance, people 0, person 0, person 1, person 2, person 3. If we go to the person 1, we and if we put the preferences like 3, this is preference 3, this is preference 2, this is the preference 1. What I did was, okay, you cannot be a match for yourself, so I put -1 in here. Actually, I can put 0. It was 0. Okay, so you can never be a preference for yourself. Then the person 1 has the maximum preference, so I put 3 in here. The person 2 has the preference of 2, and the person 3 has a preference of 1. And then I did the same for the other elements. So 3 maximum preference, I go to the position 3 and I score 3. Then I go to the position 2 and I score, I put the preference 2. Then 0 is preference 1, and this one is 0 because you cannot be a preference for yourself. So again, 3 we put maximum preference. For 1 is the preference number 2. For 0, preference number 1, and here is 0. And again, here 1 is maximum preference. Maximum preference. 2, preference 2, and 0, preference 1. And here 0. So I hope, okay, I hope to have filled this matrix correctly, but the gist of this is to go to a person index and put the corresponding preference. This is the first step, is a matrix. So the next step is to create a graph. Okay, we create a graph with the pairs and the weight. Okay, so well, a graph or an hash map maybe is easier to think with an hash map. So what I have done, I have put then I go through pairs. I go through pairs and I put, let's go for 0. No, wait a second. So we received this list of pairs, right? This is the list of pairs that we received. and we will transform this in a graph. So we go to 0, and it would be a weighted graph. So 0, and the pair is 1, and the weight, what is the weight? We go to 0, 0, 1 is 3, and the weight is 3. Next, we check 1. 1 is with 0. This is the person, this is the match, and this is the weight. So, okay, we check then the person 0, the person 1. We know that this couple is match is 0. So let's see its weight. We go to 1, we check 0, the weight is 1. Then we go to the next pair, which is 2 and 3. We go to our weight array. We go to the 2 people number 2. We check the position number 3, which we check the weight, and the weight is 3. Now we do the other pair, which is 3 and 2. What is the weight of this? We go to 3, we check the position 2, and we check that it is weight of 2. So this is the second step. Perform this mapping. This provides us direct access to weight, and this provides us access to pairs and weights. So the third step is to validate. Okay, we will validate if there is a case where the current friend, the current person, will ask for a situation where the current person doesn't have a maximum satisfaction, the maximum preference. In another way, I do it in there are two situations. One situation is we have already our best preference, and if we have our best preference, like the case of 2, we are okay, we are happy for sure. The other thing that we will do is to check when we doesn't have the best preference. We have to check if there is someone in our list of preferences that is unhappy. Okay, so we have to, for if we doesn't have the best match, we have to see if there is someone in our preferences that would be happier if we were a match. Understand me? So we will traverse this graph, and we'll check if there is someone in our list of preferences that would be happier with us, and also us would be happier with them. Okay, and when that condition applies, we found one person unhappy. Okay, so this is the first step. This is the second step, and the third step is to find someone that would be happier with me, and I also would be happier. Okay, so this is what we will do in the third step. So let's see the code to see how this looks like. I will jump for the solution, and this is the solution. Okay, so first we create the array with positions and weight. Okay, so this is our weight matrix that I have talked about. In this for, we will traverse the preferences and do the correct mappings, okay, for the indexes and the corresponding weights. Then I create a graph, okay, is this second step, right here. And in this step, well, I just fill for each friend, for each person, I put its match and the weight, and then for the final verification. Wait, sorry. For the final verification, then for the final verification, we will do what I have just told you. We will traverse this graph, and if the person is with the maximum happiness she could have, we continue, because that's an happy person. If she is not happy, what we will do is to go through our preferences and see if there is someone that we would be happier with. Okay, we check in our current person if there is someone that would make us happier than the current person that we are at, and then we would see if also we would make that person happier than the current person that she is with. And if this condition applies, we have found another unhappy person. And that's it. After this, we just return the number of unhappy people, and that's basically how I have solved this problem. And okay, so I will show you how it goes. I'm sorry, I have to play a little bit with the size of the screen. So okay. Okay, so this was the final result. Okay, guys.